We are good to go.
Oh
All
my
right.
God, sit in on time.
So we'll call this meeting to order. Let's see, today is Tuesday, April 27th, 2021 for the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting. I think the first order of business is the approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Has everyone looked at the agenda?
Yep.
Motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Seconded. All right. And has everyone reviewed the minutes from last meeting?
Yes.
Motion to approve those?
Motion.
Second?
Well, so I wasn't at the meeting, so I can't second. I don't know how I.
Oh,
actually-
then I
Neither
shouldn't
was-
either,
neither was Alexa.
right?
Alexa wasn't there
Alexa and
either.
Frank are the only one.
All right. Okay. So it looks like our next order of business is correspondence. Any correspondence this week? This month, rather?
I've had nothing.
All right. And that brings us up to items of business. First one is the Reynolds Park project update.
All right. Just a few things to update you with. One bid came in for the exercise equipment from MRC Incorporated. I think they were the ones that did Peasley Park too. I'm not 100% on that, but they're Michigan Recreational Construction. Amy and I met with him briefly about the placement of the equipment as it is currently proposed, to get his thoughts about it on another place in the park, what he thought about it, and Elgin Park. And unfortunately, like one of the things that we asked him about was possibly moving the equipment along like the back fence line at Reynolds Park. It turns out that won't work because trees would not make it because we have to add cement, and the cement going as far down into the ground as it would have to the root system would not take that. So unfortunately, that's out because we don't want to have to take down any trees for that. So
Can I interrupt 1 second just to refresh my
sure,
memory? So
sure.
was that the revised layout that was presented last summer? Or is that something
no,
different?
the
Yeah.
revised layout is in the back corner. Let me get my coordinates correct. It is the southeast corner of Reynolds Park.
Okay.
So if you're standing like on 11 Mile, it's to the left-hand side in the back.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And that's what's proposed right now. And you know, there was some people that were asking us to reconsider putting it different places, different parks. Amy and I have been looking at a couple different places, and we talked with this contractor even about Elgin Park. But that, he said, isn't a very viable place either because there is that play structure there that we don't necessarily want to get rid of. And there's trees also that would have to be removed to be able to incorporate cement and everything. He had like a schematic with all the trees on it that he was showing Amy and I, which was really nice to kind of get that viewpoint. You know, we were just, again, looking at more places as people were asking us to do just to see. And so far it seems to be going back to this particular section. What I did find out that I know a couple people were happy to hear is that the pathway from the parking lot to basically to the play structure to the exercise equipment to the porta potty and everything will be a cemented ADA compliant walkway. So that's kind of a nice thing. And there's going to be benches along that, you know, for those who are worried about the accessibility of getting to that. And I know Bonnie Nowakowski had mentioned that there was a pine tree that was donated that's in that little corner where it's proposed now. Found out we are able to just relocate that tree. It was donated from, I believe, one of the garden clubs. So we definitely don't want to have anything happen to that little tree. So Steve, our park supervisor, is going to be able to transplant that or move that somewhere, you know, in that park where it makes sense and where it will thrive. So we're able to do that. So thank you to Bonnie for mentioning that. That was helpful. Let's see. And so Amy and I are still kind of going through all the other parks to see the good, the bad, the indifferent, whatever. So as soon as we figure that all out again, we'll let everybody know, but we do have a contractor that I'm not sure that there hasn't been a city commission yet to approve or to accept that their contract. So, but they were the only ones that put something in. So we're just gonna wait and see that and bring that to the city commission. Another thing that we did, we put in a grant for, it's called an expression swing. And what it is, just to kind of keep with the theme of the multi-generational at that park, is it's a parent-child swing where they face each other and you can swing together with your child. Also great for grandparents and grandkids. So MParks had a grant for park equipment, so I entered us into that with hopes that maybe we can get that to also add to the park and the theme going there. So that's supposed to be awarded at the end of May. So hopefully I'll hear back on that.
So it's on hold right now.
Yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, right now we want to get it going. So we're just waiting to just make sure that, you know, we've done our due diligence again, looking at all the sites and all the parks and everything and making sure we haven't missed anything. And then we should know hopefully soon. So
Is there, Tracy, is there
yeah.
any chance of using porous cement and rain gardens as a way of basically saving the trees, for example, in Elgin Park, but getting it away, getting it a little bit closer for people with more parking?
Right. You know what,
Could you
Jeff, I
ask the
actually
question?
don't know the answer to that question, to be honest. I can ask if you would like me to, just as, you know, to see where we are with that. But it's actually, the parking might be closer, but more difficult at that park because it's on street line, on the street. It's not a designated lot or anything. So it's not necessarily easier parking, to be honest. But I can ask about more of a porous
Concrete.
concrete for Elgin, is what you're
yeah.
thinking, right?
Well, at either place, I mean, if you're gonna have a long walkway,
Mhm.
it's advantageous to the park to not have that be a dead space. And so if they,
Okay,
you know, unless there are negatives, real high negatives to it.
yeah, I don't know. The only thing that they were saying, the root system, just with the cement laying on top of the roots, you know, for the trees would not be good for them. And they actually, there was one tree, the way it was placed would actually have to be, you know, was going to be removed. That's only if we were looking at moving the stuff to behind the park, like along the fence line, but it doesn't affect the position that it's currently, you know, proposed to go in that corner. But I can check on that for us and that, Jeff, for sure. Yeah. So that's what I have about Reynolds Park.
Can I just,
Yes,
Ms.
Claire.
Claire?
just, if you could look into, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive, but it's so much better for the trees, for everything else, to have some porous concrete running back to where the equipment is. It's a long walkway, and all you're doing is adding more surface for water to run off. You're gonna find pooling and other things. And it would be a benefit to the community to have something that's environmentally friendly.
I
Okay,
think we're talking about laying an enormous amount of concrete to put down the exercise equipment. And it would seem that the walkway would be kind of minor compared to the amount of concrete being laid down and the impact on the root system from the concrete that has to be put there for the exercise equipment. So it's like, I feel like if we care so much about the trees,
I'm
like,
not,
why don't we plant more trees and not put exercise equipment in the middle of our parks? I mean, there seems to be, we're constantly reevaluating where the exercise equipment's going
Right.
to go, what the layout's going to be. It just feels like the people who were out here, like based on the minutes from the last meeting, which I apologize that I missed, it feels like the people who were advocating so much for the exercise equipment are now going back and questioning everything about where the equipment's being placed, the investment for the equipment, the accessibility of it to small children, potential safety concerns that were addressed. I know when we had bazillions of people at our meeting last year before
Oh, yeah.
COVID. It just seems like there's a continued back and forth, and it's really unclear to me how much the community actually continues to support this plan.
Right. Well, I do
Yes,
know some people that weren't supporting it are now supporting it. So there's also been a change in with a few people, that sort of thing. So, we're just looking, and there's more at stake too, because the men's club is putting in money from the auction, already approved to do that, and that sort of thing. And this project actually was already done and finished, and then COVID hit. It should have, the equipment would have already been in the park, last August. So, but I don't, from what I told, the city wants to go forward with this project. They just are still just looking at where that would be the best place.
So Jeff, what's the city commission stand on all this? Because I mean, it's the city commission that's doing it.
Usually the city commission defers to the committees. What we do is say, yes, we'll pay for it. No, we won't pay for it. Normally, we don't take a position on location. The seniors have asked that it be close to the entrance. In many instances, the soccer club has said that would screw up our situation. We need to, at some point, think about the times that people use it. The seniors could be using the parks along with the little kids between 9 and 5 or 9 and 3. The high school kids, the elementary school kids could use it after 3. That's the same thing inside the rec center itself. And the only reason I bring that up is we were offered seniors an opportunity to walk in the rec center. And what we could do is just 2 people or 2 families every hour. And then all of a sudden there were some rain days. And at that point they said, no, the nursery school, the 30 kids that are in that or whatever that number is, can't go out. So we need to use the full gym. And I'd love to see the gym split in 2. We already have the curtain to do that, so that seniors during the daytime, our parks very often are relatively empty except for a tiny corner where the swings are until 3 o'clock, 3:30, Monday through Friday, and then they're busy on the weekends. But we ought to try and figure out how we maximize that use. The seniors are trying to also get near the entrance because they have a degree of disability. Over 1/3 of the city is 55 or older. Among the people 70 to 80, it's been the largest jump in numbers during the last 10 years. So people, for some odd reason, they don't want to leave Huntington Woods, and I'm part of that odd lot. So we do need services past the point of view of when our kids are in camp or in the rec center. And we need to start thinking, I think, about the times during the day.
Claire?
Yeah, I just want to say that I personally, I only speak for myself, appreciate the effort that the rec has taken in looking at alternative positions.
Thanks.
Just and to your point, I know what the answer would be to put pervious cement down for that equipment to go onto. It's way too expensive. My recommendation was that we look at an alternative for the walkway, because that will go from almost to the salon all the way over to Meadowcrest, and that's an additional long stretch to have more concrete and a playground where, we want water to drain off, we don't want water to pool, etc. That was my only suggestion.
Right, but there is, concerns about the handicapped accessibility of the equipment. And so I feel like if we're not laying concrete and we're laying another kind of material, does that then become hazardous or inaccessible for somebody in a wheelchair or who has a walker? So like, I just feel like it like has the potential to spiral out of
Jessica,
control.
all of the surfaces at the Detroit Zoo are pervious now. And I
Okay,
think you've been to the zoo, and I don't know, it's safer to
I've
walk
never
in the
looked closely
zoo.
at the concrete at the zoo.
Pardon?
I've never looked closely at the
Well,
concrete.
you can't generally see it. It's not something you can see, but it's probably safer to walk at the zoo than on many of our sidewalks.
Thanks for that insight.
And
Claire.
I just want to say, I appreciate the efforts that Tracy and the others have put into looking at the issues that have been brought up.
Thank you so much, Claire. Thank you. And I just actually, Frank, sorry, if I can just clarify one thing with the walking, the gym too, we do have a half and half where we can have half of it for walking and the other half for it's our preschool program that, but that is available. We're still doing that too, if it's something
Great,
that
great.
seniors want, Jeff. So thank you.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you.
Next order of business is the Val Jones Skate Park discussion.
Okay, just a couple things with this. And I know at the last meeting, Kim had asked about the bleachers that were out there right in the middle of the sun. So when
Mhm.
parents take their kids there, they're, you know, in the blazing sun all the time. So Steve, our parks coordinator, park supervisor, excuse me, has plans to move it. He just needs a couple extra bodies to be able to help him. So as soon as he gets a staff, which I'm talking about at another point. And even Kim said, you know, well, Kim said she's lifting weights. She can come over and help. And I even
Fair
offer
enough.
my services, but you know, so we're checking into even maybe if a couple DPW guys can just head over and help him out for, you know,
I'll
10
go.
minutes.
Claire will go. We'll
Bleachers.
go.
Right, let's do it. Come on, let's do it, guys. We got this. So, so that is going to be taken care of. So I just want everybody to know that that is going to be followed through on. Amy has researched.
Tracy?
Yeah.
I bet if you needed extra help, you sent something to the NHS director at Berkeley, or at the high school, they would
Good
be
idea.
able to send out something for people to get hours, or if you needed any help.
That's,
TC.
and that's Todd Fedor, right?
Yeah.
Alexa? Thank
Uh-huh.
you.
Mhm.
I like it. Thank you. Good suggestion. Amy has researched a grant to possibly bring in some artwork into Val Jones. I know that it was something that was talked about, I want to say before even Mary left, I'm not 100% sure. And so she found a grant and she looked into it and we sent pictures of the park, and this would be something that would go on the side. If you're standing again on 11 Mile and you're looking into the skate park, the bowl part of it, so on the right-hand side, the facing that faces you right away, like the first thing you see off of 11 Mile. And it would be, I don't like to use the word graffiti because some people just they hear graffiti and they think of nothing but, I don't know, not good things. This would be graffiti type of artwork that fits in with the whole scheme of skating and that kind of thing. Yeah. So
It's street art.
yes, yeah, and there has been, I mean, my nephew had a whole wall in his room, I digress, of graffiti, and it was amazing. So there is some great work out there, and it could even be something that could be a project for a local artist once, you know, if we get this grant money. So that's kind of exciting to think about. And I think, and anybody who's been on the board, I think the idea behind that was to even give the park some more value to it. And, you know, because there have been some people that are not happy with the skate park. And this is to kind of the people that use the park saying, hey, you know, check out this artwork. It's for you to kind of enjoy and get into the vibe. So, you know, hopefully this will come to fruition. I'm not sure when that grant is, information will be out as far as if we got it or not, but I'll definitely keep everybody posted. And I
Hey,
did.
Tracy.
Yes.
Tracy, just one question to that end. Any concerns about that kind of an installation attracting continuing contributions in that spot or other spots? I mean,
That, yes, for sure. And that was another point I was going to bring up too, because you know, I can see both sides of that, you know, kind of the kids and or whoever uses it to kind of, it just adds, you know, a nicer vibe to that park. But I can also see where like people are, oh, graffiti, cool, you know, and bringing their spray cans into the park. So,
precisely.
right. So, you know, it's definitely something to think about. And one of the things too that I wanted to mention, I did meet recently with a family who lives close to the park that is struggling with, the noise and everything that goes on there. And I just, because I don't know this, because I came in kind of as things were in the mix, but did the Parks and Rec Board ever draft anything, what their thoughts are about that park, like something that's in
Yes.
writing that went to the city and stuff?
Yes,
There
we
is
did.
something, Jeff. Okay.
Yes, we did. We drafted because it's been one family that has been complaining for 2 years. And we keep addressing this issue, and it's life. There's
Right.
nothing's perfect. It's not perfect, but we think the overall is wonderful. And we did, I guess a little unusual, but the rec board did pass a sort of resolution
Right.
that I believe was unanimous that we sent to the city commission in support of we need, like Jeff was saying, we need different things. And we do tend to focus an awful lot on old people like Jeff and I, or on our little kids. And this is a teenage thing. We don't have a lot and it's not like teenagers, it's 20-year-olds. There's also 8 and 10-year-olds there. And we did send something to the city.
Okay.
That said we're very much in favor of it. And
Oh, that's good to know. And I'm
Yes.
sure it's in Mary's files. She has left me
Yes.
enormous, wonderful files. So I can check
And,
that out. I just didn't know where we were with that. So.
The
So just a
neighbor,
second, Claire? Oh, sorry, Jeff, Claire had her hand raised for a second. there, I'm sorry.
Two things. Number one, I was sorry that the thing you drafted was outstanding. I was sorry that the commission that it was not read into the public record at a commission meeting. You might want to send it again and ask that it be added to, that it be publicly read rather than just that it be read as a communication out loud rather than just kind of squirreled away. But the other thing is Tracy, and I don't remember the name of the artist, and I don't know if he's still in Huntington Woods, but there's an artist in town that we interviewed when we did the wall at DPW who works with teens.
I think,
create the art.
Alexa, do you know, I think he did work, did he do work at the high school too?
Yes,
He
he's
did,
done a lot
he
of
is still
work.
in the community, and I'm like you, I can't remember his name right now, but he is still around.
And you might
Yeah.
talk to him because he engages the kids. And when you engage the kids, it becomes a ownership type of thing.
Right, and that's kind of what
And
we were
he's
hoping
wonderful.
with this artwork, that it would develop more ownership, but like Frank said, it could turn to the other side, hopefully it won't.
Just don't
but-
know.
Right, we don't know
Unlikely
exactly,
if kids
so-
are involved in creating it.
Right. And then my other quick question was, and I guess in regards to Val Jones too, was, there was talk about doing the security cameras, and I guess I just don't know exactly where the board's thoughts are on that, because seriously, it was my first day on the job and I was meeting with somebody for security cameras in Val Jones Park, probably with this look on my face like, yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. But is this something that the Parks and Rec Board is wanting to research or think it's a good idea? Or
don't
I
see
know,
the
and I
point.
wish Kim was here because she's been very proactive with, and Jeff too, checking on the parks and, or the Val Jones and
I
everything.
don't remember us supporting.
no, we're not
The
supporting.
camera,
it. We
okay,
didn't see a reason.
Okay,
Yeah.
so is that like?
I think
I'm just-
it was just the graffiti removal was the only thing that we really kind of spoke clearly on,
Yeah.
because they were
Okay.
complaining that it was, I think there was some either racial or anti-Semitic
Yes,
graffiti that
Right.
was associated with the laboratory or the porta potty. And but aside from that, I don't think we
Yeah.
had any overwhelming
Okay.
support for any kind of
No.
closed circuit or cameras.
okay. That just helps me to know, how to proceed if this, public
family.
safety was at the meeting too, and I think they want to push for more security there, but to let them know kind of where the board sits on this is good, so. Okay, sorry guys, I have to write that down.
Board thought it was one of the most used parks in the city,
Mhm.
and nothing's perfect. And
Okay, I'm just glad to get more input from you guys as to where, the board stands on that park, so I kind of know how to proceed, but,
it's
Yeah, I
one of,
agree with that. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
it's one of the few parks that's both multiracial and multi-age.
Right.
So I mean, it's something to be proud of. Some
Yes.
people are saying, oh, well, those people don't live here.
Mhm.
That's not an issue. You know, they
No.
just live here.
No, like I said, my kids and my grandkids, we use all the Huntington Woods parks. Also the Southfield Parks, the Royal Oak Parks, the Berkeley, and everyone else should too.
Yep.
Okay. So anyway, I'll keep you updated on that grant and other things as it becomes available, so.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you, Tracy. And regarding the pool,
Just, yeah, sorry, there's so much, guys, that have been going on, but currently, just to let you guys know, we have pool passes on sale. And what I found very interesting that as of today, we have 589 members that are signed up for this year. And at this same day in 2019, you know, before a COVID year or anything, we had 429, so we're over by 100 people. And let me tell you how good that made us all feel here. You know, who knows how many more we'll actually get, but the fact that we're kind of on a good trend to get to some, you know, some good numbers with all the craziness of COVID. So we're just real curious to see what our final numbers are.
What was the number you said one more time? Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, the numbers are, we last year at this time, we were at 429, and right now we have 589.
29 and what do you say?
589.
589. Wow.
What
Perfect.
we're at right now, current, like to date, yeah. Mhm. So,
So I have a question. I don't know if Jeff knows the answer or not. So we see city level data on COVID cases.
Mhm.
Right? It's like available on whatever, like the Oakland County website. You guys have been posting it up at City Hall. Do we have any city level data on immunization rates? So as we look to open the pool and other programming, is there public information on that?
No, but I mean, that, I'll try and see if we can find any of that out, because there is a statewide data control on the vaccine. That would be a brilliant idea if we could
Yeah.
find out, Jessica.
and you
I
know what,
would-
that- Charlie
I would
Cavell
suggest-
probably has that information, because as the Oakland County person, he sends us bi-weekly updates on that. And you know, Jessica, I'm gonna check in my last one to see if there's
great.
actually information about the immunization rate and where we're at with that. I'm not sure, but I'm sure he'd be able to get some information.
I don't know, if that would inform any decisions made around,
Sure.
pool stuff or summer programming, or making residents feel more comfortable participating in those kinds of events.
That sounds good. I think that's a great
Yeah, I
idea.
like that idea.
Absolutely.
that was a great contribution, Jess. I think that would be a huge boost to resident confidence as far as participation and all sorts of things, even as simple as like a 4th of July parade or something. I think people would feel, hey, I can be out here with my family, and if my 3 kids aren't masked, it's okay. It's gonna be, it's,
Right.
As long as they're over 16.
Right, exactly.
Right.
We can't have
The little
those
ones
kids
home.
right now, yeah, so. And one of the things now that we're working on is interesting, is because our swim team has to do COVID testing weekly. And so we're given a few options to choose from, some that are just not what we want to get ourselves in, meaning training staff here how to do COVID tests ourselves. I said, I don't think that's a good idea at all. We're not medical staff. I don't even know how anybody would think that that would be a good idea. But so Bridget is now researching different things. And I've contacted like SOX to see what they do. They're bringing in a lab that they contracted with to run their weekly COVID tests. So it's
Yeah, my
something that-
sister's on SOX and she's doing the weekly tests and it's been great.
Good, and then they've worked out really good, and they go to one site, right? That's what we're,
Yeah.
see, one of the other things is everybody on their own to get their own test weekly. So you're getting information from multiple sources. It would make sense to have something like that where we just have, okay, on Monday at 8 a.m. swim team members are getting their COVID tests so they can swim this week. So,
Berkeley High School also has a COVID thing before school.
okay.
Is there gonna be swim meets?
Oh, yeah, we are, but they're not, it's basically gonna be only our team swimming, and it's gonna be like virtual, as of right now, you know, things have changed so dramatically over the last just couple of weeks even. The idea is that it's a virtual swim meet. However, our swim team will have 6 meets here, but it'll just be our team, which part of me thinks is a great idea because then, you know, we know our community, we know our kids, our families, you know, there's just a little bit more, I don't know, I just feel like it's a little bit safer of a venture. And then they swim and compare times to the other swim teams that are doing virtual meets also, and that's how you determine for second, third place, all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's all for them beating their best time anyway.
Right,
More
and there's
than-
that too, you know,
So-
and so.
Swim against yourself, yeah. Claire?
I've seen virtual swim meets. My granddaughter swam
Ah,
in high school team in Ohio, and both teams were swimming on their own, but they were able to, you know, the information came in and you didn't know the scores
Plug in the
right
numbers.
away, but it
Right.
worked very well. Everybody was happy.
You know, I'm glad to hear that because it all sounds very confusing to me,
Yeah.
but I
It
know
went
there's a
very
way to
well.
do it. So, yeah, so that's where we're at right now doing stuff with the pool. Sorry, there's so much information tonight, guys.
it's good.
All right. Are we ready to move on to the next order of business?
Absolutely.
All right, so the next order of business is a question kind of, I think Tracy's gonna talk to us a little bit about with regard to priority and priority setting, like over the next, you know, year or so. I was kind of talking with Kim about this, and we sort of raised this up sort of a little bit after last meeting to Tracy, that with the year of, you know, of us being kind of remote with COVID and with the change from Mary to Tracy, I feel like we've kind of lost a little bit of a sense of what's happening and what's going on other than like the absolute current issues. So we get the agenda, we see what's happening, but there's a sort of sense of like what's on the horizon, what are other things that are being planned for, what are immediate things that we're making concessions or adjustments to because of COVID, what are some long-term plans, infrastructural type things. Not something super exhaustive, not something, you know, incredibly wide reaching, but just have a sense that those of us who are on the board have an understanding of what's going on in the world of the parks.
Right. And I'm so glad that you guys brought that up to me. And, you know, I was thinking too, being kind of new to this position, not that I want to keep falling back, but I'm learning a whole lot at, you know, so far just a short period of time. It's been great, but my thought is that going forward, I think, like, and now I'm just, you know, realizing as we had to put together new rules for the pool, it had to be done so quickly, like the timing, and I just blame COVID for everything now, but, you know, we didn't have time we had to wait for the CDC regulations and these regulations, and then all of a sudden come up to with something because we needed to start registration. But putting those rules into place should be something that's brought to you guys to look through and kind of give your feedback and stuff. So I do think, and our goal is hopefully to be open by this fall, that we can maybe get back to face-to-face meetings, that there's going to be kind of some more time to plan, prepare, and get the board's, you know, insight into some upcoming things. And I was even thinking, you know, thoughts about our reopening or restarting that the Parks and Rec Board could get involved in, with coming up with, you know, some plans for that, if there even needs to be anything, you know, that sort of thing. Is that kind of what you're thinking about?
That's sort of the gist of it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of some of the operational considerations like that and what's happening and how things are unfolding. And then if there's any, you know, we talk about Reynolds Park, we talk about some of the stuff at Val Jones. Is there anything else that's kind of happening and on the horizon, sort of in terms of park infrastructure? Are certain parks being anything happening? Where are things at with Sox and Burton Fields? I know that they want to throw some money at that as a possibility. Just sort of a little more expanded. And if it's putting you on the spot at this meeting, you know, certainly feel free to, you know, we can raise this up even for the next meeting if you want to have some more time to prepare that. But just to have kind of an overview of ways that we can offer our contributions and feel that what we're doing is a little more substantive and a little less perfunctory. You know, it's sort of a there's a lot of folks on the board who have a lot of skill sets that we could really apply to these things. And I want to feel like we're all making sure that we're actively doing that rather than just kind of reviewing and rehashing.
Sure. I love that, Frank. I think that's a great idea, and I'm so glad you guys brought it up. And what I can do is, let me do a little bit more research, because I know, like I said, Mary left me some pretty amazing files, and there are a few things, like you said, with the Burton Park and the track you know, that we have behind us is in bad shape. So there are some things that have kind of been in the wings and unfortunately haven't been able to be focused on COVID. Again, I'm sorry, I keep going back to COVID, but, you know, kind of put
It's huge.
crimp in how we're doing
considerable.
things here.
Yeah.
So, and you know, when
Absolutely.
our focus has gone there, but I love the idea of, I can get you guys the information, you know, farther ahead of time. So you guys have that ability to kind of get your fingers into things and that kind of thing. I think that's great. I think that's
I think a
great.
general sense of sort of what that priority list is for, like what's, I guess, what, or rather what the running list is of things that need attention and
Okay.
need focus. So like Claire's comment in the chat box, like we all see that there are aspects of every park that
Mhm.
that need, you know, structural
Right,
support or
right.
changes or repaving or whatever it might be. So
Or just basic maintenance sometimes even. Sometimes it's just, you know,
Right.
and it's understandable. I mean, you know, transitioning to your role now, plus with the absence of us, you know, to be a little more directly hands-on in meetings over the last year,
Right.
it's a perfectly reasonable and normal void that kind of created. But I think like Jess says, if we kind of had a running sense of like, oh, this is going on here, this is there, and it doesn't have to be super crazy detailed or fleshed out. I think that's part of something we can do with that with you, if you know,
Sounds good.
but I think just a sense of where these things are at. And I think also as we make observations too, like Jess said, you know, if we see stuff, I think if we you know, give you that information as well, that can become part of that
Absolutely.
ongoing dialogue.
I love that.
So-
I think that's great. Thank you so much, Frank. That is great. Yeah.
Right. Give me 1 second here. I just lost my agenda. Okay, just department updates.
Oh, we haven't even gotten there yet. Sorry, guys. Okay. Just a couple of things that are coming up. This Saturday, Jeff Klein is going to be finishing the tree planting at Scotia Park. He is, let me turn my page. Let's see, he's bringing in some trees that had, sorry, let me start again. Bringing in 8 additional trees that are going to be planted. And then he's also bringing in 3 trees to replace trees that died since the park was redone. So that's happening. And then he's also bringing in 7 flats of a perennial called Mertensia. So that right there, I think, you know, we were talking just now too about the parks kind of needing a little oomph and whatever. That's going to be very helpful for Scotia. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. So that's happening on Saturday. And another thing too is, and this is kind of a Parks and Rec wide issue that's happening right now, is we're all having trouble getting seasonal staff. And what's interesting is we don't usually run up against this in Huntington Woods. Everybody wants to come here and be a lifeguard or a camp counselor or even works the parks. We need people for all these positions still. We do have some lifeguards, we do have some camp counselors, we just need more. And right now, we don't have anybody for the seasonal park staff, which doesn't help if we're going to be focusing on, you know, maintaining and making our parks look pretty. So if you guys, we have placed things out at the high schools, at Royal Oak, at Berkeley, at colleges. It's the, I don't know if it's what program it's called, Handshake. And it gets to some of the college students if they're looking for jobs over the summer. We put on social media, MML, MParks, that sort of thing, in Michigan Talent. So if you guys know of any other places to promote, so we're looking at, this is for seasonal staff for the summer, please let me know. You know, we've made a flyer. I'm happy to share it with you if you need to throw it out to any people you know. So that would be awesome. And they're also taking applications now for Colette's position, which that went out last week, I think. And Frank, I was going to ask you if you wanted to be on the interview panel as our Parks and Rec Advisory Board chairperson. If it doesn't work for you, we can, you know, schedule as we can figure
can make it
something
work.
out. Okay. And so we're accepting applications for that. And we extended accepting applications for the parks assistant, which is a full-time position. We did get some applicants in, looking to maybe get a few more in. So we extended that to actually this Friday is our last day to accept applications. So that is a the person that would work with Steve W. in a full-time position year round. So we're also looking for those people. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know. Golf league started tonight. We have a COVID clinic here tomorrow, a vaccine clinic. We did registrations for it. We now can take walk-ins between 9 and 11:30 here tomorrow. Second shot is May 19th, so you'd have to be available for both dates. You need to bring a license, insurance card, and then there's just a form that Rite Aid will have you fill out. If you guys know
How many
anybody,
applicants do we get?
we
on
have
that?
49 and we're available to have 100. So if you know of anybody, and this just doesn't have to be Huntington Woods people, it can be friends, family, whatever, anybody. I know we have some like Berkeley seniors I know who missed out on getting their shot are coming. And so let people know, and we can, up to 100 people. So we'd like to get these shots in people's arms. So that's tomorrow.
Tracy, is that at the rec center or?
I'm sorry, it is at the Gillum Rec Center, Jeff. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The 60+ crowd newsletter went out. Make sure you check out the activities for the Older Americans Month in May. There's a lot of things that Lenny Newman and the Senior Advisory Committee has put together for that. So check that out. If you want to send that to anybody you know who might be interested, please do. If you want a July 4th, 50th year commemorative t-shirt, they're on sale now at recreation.hwmi.org. And that's the only way to get one. And that's what I have right now.
All right, thanks for the updates, Tracy.
Thanks, Greg.
Just moving this along, any public participation about issues that we haven't already raised? Yes, Claire,
Since I'm the only public.
as our sole member of the public.
I mean, this is something that I don't think you can do right away, but the mechanism to register is so complicated. It took me almost a half hour to find out where senior activities were when I first went in, and I have been writing to the seniors that I communicate with long descriptions of how to get to it. It's not clear at all.
Even when you went to put just that number in? At the last, what meeting were we at? That where you had to put the number in?
But the number only works if
registration
you've
number.
already gotten to that section.
Oh, it's prior to that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you go and you hit adult and you put that number in, it'll come up, and it happens to be one of the special events seniors, it'll come up that doesn't exist.
Oh, okay.
So there's no cross. I mean, and I think in general it's complicated, and so much of what's on there is you can't register, but a lot of the things that are in the 60+ and in the newsletter that you should be able to register, they aren't there. There are a whole lot of activities that aren't available to be registered for. So somebody needs to take a look at that, and there's got to be a better way of making it easy for people to find what they're looking for.
Do
Usually
you
if
have
there's
to
not-
register for things online, or is there someone you can call to do that? Do we still have
I
support?
prefer that you do it online. You can, I tell people they
everything's
can
been
call.
online right now. Everything's online. And usually though, if there's like not a registration number or it doesn't show, usually there's like, it like, let's say if it's a senior program, it should say to either like call Jennifer or whatever, like Monday Lunch Bunch, you call Jennifer to register for those. But I can see how you would,
It's just,
it's confusing, yeah.
it's very complicated
Okay.
and I just think it's something that you might not, you can't do it. And I also wonder why so many things are on that say unavailable to register. Why would you even have them on there? And then other
Yeah.
things that ought to be there don't seem to be there.
Sometimes if they're unavailable, it means they're sold out. So that might be, I don't know if that's something that you've seen, we have to keep it up. It's very hard to explain, but we have to keep it up because we still have to get to it to get, our registration numbers and our rosters and our everything like that. But it could be that it's just a program that's sold out. I'm not, but though Claire, I'm not 100% sure.
Then it ought to indicate that, I think, rather than just
Yeah.
being unavailable.
And it might, it all depends on how, it's called Rec Pro is what we use, and all kind of depends on how
That's why I said I
they
don't expect-
program it.
I don't expect you to fix it right away, but getting to the seniors.
But it's good to know your thoughts about it, though, because we
Yeah.
don't want to have
Getting to
something
the
like
senior
that be
stuff
so
for
difficult.
seniors is very, I mean, for me, and I'm pretty savvy on tech.
Okay. Perfect.
Anything else, Claire?
No, that's it.
Okay. Sorry to single you out. You're the only participant today, so you get the you get
I'm
the first name
registering.
treatment. Good job. All right. As far as planning for our next meeting, do you think we might be able to advance our conversation a little bit about some of the planning and prioritization for
Yeah.
the next meeting?
Yeah.
And if you get something that you want to send out beforehand for us to peek at to sort of see if
Oh,
we're getting in the
okay.
right direction, go for it. And I'm certainly happy and available to talk about that with you further as well
Okay, sounds good, Frank. Thank you.
for clarification.
Sounds good.
And also, it would also be kind of interesting too, I think, the other point that was left, that Jessica brought up is if we can get a sense of what vaccination numbers are like, as well as,
Have
you
that
know, what
written
case
down,
numbers
yeah.
are like. So that would be another good point for the next meeting.
I think so.
Any other points from anyone else? Oh,
I don't know if
yes,
this
Jeff.
falls under board comments or plan of action for the next meeting, but talking about the graffiti at Val Jones, there's graffiti at the men's club field on the wall. And so I didn't know if that was something that was already identified and going to be painted over, or as we
Where it
look
says
to
Iggy Pop.
what? Yeah,
This is-
Yeah.
That's been up and down on that wall for over 20 years. Somebody
Oh.
always comes back. It's been, and I can't imagine it's the same person that did it from the beginning to right now. I think it's just like somebody has just taken over. And Iggy Pop, if you look at that wall, you'll see how many times it's literally.
I don't know if we're
been
looking to put,
over, so.
I think if
yeah.
we're looking to expand, our public art, then
Oh.
let's hire someone to paint Iggy Pop on the wall. Like, I'd rather see a picture of Iggy Pop than his name in orange spray paint.
Right.
So,
And I think it popped up too because it was his birthday last week, I believe.
Oh, that's so funny. That's
Yeah,
some
I think
random
that-
information, Frank. I like that. That's awesome.
Music guy, it happens.
Yeah. It's just funny that I think Claire, you probably know that too. It's probably been over 20 years that
Here, oh, yeah.
keeps going up and down. Yeah.
but if we're looking
Very
for,
tough.
if we're looking for grants to do Val Jones, if there's opportunities to do something similar there, it seems like a great place to bring some art into the
That's
community.
a great,
also.
and that's a great big wall. Something really nice would look good there. I agree. Yeah.
Yes, Claire.
I think it would be wonderful if the rec board could work with the arts and whatever they're called now, gardens committee. We've got committees, rather than working at cross purposes, work together. And I think it would be a positive to bring those people in. We pushed very hard for the first public art in Huntington Woods back in the day. So I think that would be a really great combination.
And
I
Claire,
think
remind me, they did by the mailboxes at DPW, right? That mural there was them. Okay. I love that
When they
mural.
first went, when art in public places was first added on to beautification.
if you're looking for money, you may want to look at the Michael and Peggy Pitts Foundation, which is here in the city. They are extremely generous.
I happen to know them.
And it's a foundation that they have, Jeff?
They have a foundation
Okay.
and they're very generous. The other thing is, can we ever bring back the DIA Art in the Park?
And that was nice.
I don't think that was, I was just gonna say, Jeff, that wasn't us. I believe that was.
Library,
DIA.
no,
yeah,
library.
well, Who was it, Claire?
The library.
Library, okay.
It generally goes through libraries, and
Okay.
Anne actually talked about it prior to this whole COVID thing, so she's interested in doing that again.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
That'd be great, especially with so many people out and about walking. The weather's getting nicer, outdoor activity safe, and people are confident with that. So I think having another, that's really cool.
Also, another source of funding for something like the art is the Oakland County Arts Council. They have $15,000 grants, fairly easy to write. We got a grant for the mural.
Sounds great.
One
That's
question
good
I just had.
information. I'm so happy. It's great.
One question I had that we sort of left off with on our last meeting, and it was still, I believe, indeterminate at that point, is 4th of July. What events are still being considered, and what events are off the table at this point?
Right now, the only thing, the parade is on, the concert is on, the family night. We are doing a
Fireworks are off.
fireworks. Well, I don't know if, I know the city commission was definitely leaning more towards it not happening just because of so many people, but I haven't heard that it's been a final decision yet.
Oh,
But we are gonna do like the pet pageant. We're doing the pancake breakfast still. The thing is that everything's gonna be outside, so unfortunately it's kind of weather dependent too, but we're gonna utilize some of the tents that we put up for fruit camp out on Burton Field. You know, it's like our home base for events and stuff. Gonna do a concert. The parade, and I know there was information put out that there might be a new route to help with the COVID protocols. I don't know if that is actually for sure the case anymore. I don't know. I think they're still kind of deciding that parade route.
It's in the
Um,
newsletter.
Can I recommend that if we're not doing fireworks, could Parks and Rec put out some information on fireworks safety for those people that choose to set off fireworks on their own property?
It's a great idea.
Thank you.
I mean, I really enjoyed watching my friend almost set himself on fire, but I think it'd be, no, just kidding. But it would,
The one that did was an actual fireman, so what, I don't even want to, yeah.
but I think if we
Um,
acknowledge the people, like, if, I think, you know, perhaps acknowledging that people might be doing that and giving them some safety tips.
Right. What do you think about like if we added like the rules that are like the days that fireworks can only be let off?
Yeah,
You know, I think it's
yeah.
only a couple days before or after and that
Right.
sort of thing. We can all incorporate that together. I think that's a great idea, Jessica.
Again,
Yeah.
check with public safety because they normally put something out
Okay.
around the time of 4th of July, what dates you can have them and some protocol type things.
Right. Sounds
The
good.
re-
That might be nice to have on the front page of the website too, and in the current news that pops up. That would be a good piece, because that way,
I like it.
you know, yeah.
the rationale for not having the fireworks at this point in time is you really can't control who comes.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
Everybody tries to get a good view, and you can't control the social distancing,
Right.
and you can't really control even masks.
Mhm.
So it becomes like a danger point, whereas all the other programs are normally local. This is a regional program and it's like a destination.
I've had other big communities call me, like Wixom called today and said, I know you guys have fireworks, are you having them? Because they're trying to determine, but I'm thinking, you know, Huntington Woods this big and Wixom
yeah.
this big, and then, you know, the surrounding areas that would come to theirs. I was thinking if I were Wixom, I would not be having fireworks there, but you know, it's just, people just still, you know, we want to do all these things, we just have to be realistic, so. But yeah,
To-
and
to-
you- go ahead, Frank.
To piggyback a little bit on what Jessica was saying, you know, to have something with the safety tips, and then the, you know, as Jeff was pointing out, that you have the information of when you can and cannot use them. And maybe even if there are some communities in the not, you know, too distant periphery that are going to be having their fireworks, maybe it
Right.
wouldn't be a bad idea to put information like, you know, so and so and so and so is having this, and it might give residents an option to perhaps go see fireworks and not blast them off into my backyard. So.
That'd be great. I like that. That's a great idea. Those are good additions. So, and then all the 4th of July information is in the new newsletter. So if anybody wants to refer to that, then yeah, we do have some fun things that we're gonna do. So cross fingers for nice weather this summer, you guys. It'd be great. So. Yeah.
All right. Any last board member comments before we adjourn? All right.
Can I
Motion
just
to
add one
adjourn?
thing? I'm sorry. I
Oh,
just
sorry.
want to, Alexa Philco, just so you know, was just, what is the word? Elected to the position of the team council coordinator for this coming fall for her senior year in high school. She is going to be leading our team council. So I'm
Good.
excited for her to take that role.
Congratulations.
She's amazing.
Thank
yeah.
you.
So, all right,
All right, is that it?
all good.
Okay, motion
Okay.
to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion.
Seconded,
Second.
thank you. All right, and we will see everyone in this same
Thanks,
place, same
everybody.
time next month.
Sounds good.
Bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Stay well, everyone. Thank you.
Stay safe.